Boston, Massachusetts. A short two-game set with the Marlins and the Red Sox here at Fenway Park, one of the true gems in Major League Baseball. Beautiful night inside here in Beantown, getting set for this one. Again, just two games, but we'll enjoy it nonetheless. Inside the broadcast booth with Paul Severino and Todd Hollinsworth. Again, always a thrill to be at this ballpark or Wrigley Field, Dodger Stadium, even though it's a new ballpark, Yankee Stadium. How about this? 2018 Marlins get to hit them all.
Well, they certainly do. And you know what? They get to affect, well, we'll say it, maybe the race in the American League East. Yankees are gaining right now. The Red Sox struggling just a bit. Again, the Marlins find themselves in a position to play some meaningful games late in this season and trying to kind of disrupt things a little bit.
That's right, and maybe keep the Red Sox where they're at right now. Holly mentioned the struggles. They have lost 6 of 8 games. They scored just 5 runs over the weekend against the Tampa Bay Rays. But overall, this offense is unbelievable.
Well, it really is. When you look at the numbers on the entire season, they have been all over everybody. Look at the ranks. I mean, you've got the wins, you've got the batting average, the runs, even the home runs, the doubles. They're doing it all. And oh, by the way, yeah, that's right. They'll steal a base. 46 stolen bases at the top of their lineup. So, young, athletic, do a lot of things right, but you mentioned it, struggling just a little bit coming in. And you know what? Whenever you come off that off day, you never know what you get. I talk about it all the time. Sometimes your team shows up, they're ready to go. Sometimes, maybe they're a little lethargic, but we'll see. This Boston Red Sox team is trying to get things right now.
Yeah, not just an off day, but a few off days for Jose Urena coming off of his suspension. But prior to it, boy, was he ever dominant, going the distance against the Washington Nationals.
Well, and listen, everything has set itself up well. Obviously, the tremendous performance that you saw from Urena. A little bit of a high pitch count, but he got a few days off, and I guess that's just where we'll leave it. Coming into this one, should be well rested for tonight's ball game. And oh, by the way, yeah, that's right. You go back to April, that first homestand, Urena was outstanding against this Boston Red Sox team.
Yeah, here is Urena in the bullpen down in right field. We look back at those numbers from that start in April. 4 innings and 5 earned in the 109 pitches that he threw that night. I mean, he was very good.
Outstanding stuff from Urena in that start. He was absolutely dominant against the Boston Red Sox, and you certainly hope he brings it tonight. Again, he was aggressive with the fastball last time out. We'll see if he's that again tonight.
Yeah, 7 innings, that is, against the Boston Red Sox back in April. Sorry for that. We apologize. We step aside here at Fenway Park, but when we come back, we get set for the first pitch tonight. Again, just a short 2-game set, but we'll hear from Austin Dean live with Jessica Blaylock on the other side of the break. transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Miami Marlins. By Chevrolet, see your South Florida dealer today. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Here at Fenway Park in Boston, these two teams faced off in April, as we talked about before. It was the second series of the year. Red Sox took both of those, and they have not cooled off since. The weather hasn't cooled off much either. It's 91 degrees. They say it feels like 100 or 200 even. 54% humidity, and it sounds as though once we head out of town, they might have a little bit of a cold snap in Boston. Maybe get it down to about 70 degrees once the Marlins leave town. But it is a short two-game set between these two to wrap up their season series, as the Marlins certainly hope that they can continue to add to the recent struggles last week plus of the Boston Red Sox, a team that has lost 6 of 8. And again, they lost a 3-game set over the weekend, swept by the Tampa Bay Rays. And in that series, 5 runs scored, a 198 team batting average. Their team ERA was 8.63. Now with that, the Yankees won a couple of games, able to get it a little bit closer in the AL East, which is now 6.5. Downstairs now to Jessica Blaylock with Austin Dean.
All right, thanks so much, Paul. Austin, this is a ballpark that has so much history. You're experiencing Fenway for the first time as a player. How cool is this for you?
Unreal. Got here early to the field, checked it out. This is cool. This is a dream come true, obviously. Just, obviously a lot of memories and stuff like that, but yeah, this is awesome.
It's been about 2 weeks since you were called up. I know it's a small sample size, but how comfortable are you feeling with your at-bats and facing big league pitchers?
Feel good. I still got a lot of work to do, but I still feel good. I feel like I did back in the minors, so, it's only going to get better from here.
Thanks so much. Good luck tonight. Paul, back to you.
Jess, Austin, thanks so much. We step aside. Marlins at Fenway Park for a 2-game series. Jose Urania, Brian Johnson coming up next. This season series, just a quick 2-day stop here in Boston, Massachusetts. A look here at the Marlins starting lineup presented to you by Southwest. You've got Jose Urania on the mound, of course a DH in the American League City, so it's Derek Dietrich as the designated hitter today. He bats 5th. Isaac Galloway, 5 for 16, 3 RBIs over the course of his last 8 games. He gets the start in center field, hitting 8th before Ryan Holiday, meaning that JT Realmuto over at first. Brian Johnson on the mound, 11th start this season, but a guy who has been all over the pitching staff for the Red Sox.
Yeah, pretty solid numbers. 4.12 ERA on the season. Now, if you go all the way back, he's only got 1 quality start to his first start this season. It came at Marlins Park. He pitched pretty well. April 2nd, 6 innings, 6 hits, an earned run, 5 strikeouts. Did give up Brian Anderson's first home run. We've got a few moments here. Let's go ahead and give you the AutoNation scouting report for tonight's ball game. He is that swingman, Paul. You kind of mentioned it. 22 appearances out of the bullpen, 4.94 ERA. As a starter, much better, 3.63, 10 starts. He's also finished 10 games, 9 home runs in 52 innings as a starter. Now, fastball counts really kind of speaks to his arsenal. 4-seam fastball, curve and slider, better numbers with the secondary pitches. But again, early in the count, and if you can stay ahead of him, the numbers strongly favor the hitter, so that will be key tonight. And let's see if there's some first inning lightning tonight. He's got an ERA of 6.30, highest of any inning that he's pitched this season. 928 OPS for the hitters.
We are underway at Fenway Park as Rafael Ortega takes a called strike. Paul Severino, Todd Hollinsworth, glad that you are with us here. That's a ball inside to Ortega. He's in right field tonight. It'll be a challenge in right and in center and in left for these youngsters in the Marlins lineup. We'll talk about how to navigate this outfield as the game goes along, but Ortega in front, 2 balls and a strike to Johnson.
Ortega hitting 12 of 16.
Fly ball out to center field. It's Jackie Bradley Jr. for the first out.
Let's get you the Marlins defensively. Or excuse me, we're now on the road.
That's right. Yes.
Give you the Red Sox defensively. And they got a talented defense. 60 errors on the season. That's 3rd fewest in the American League.
Brian Anderson digs in. 2 for 7 in that series back in April.
All right, let's quickly give you the Red Sox defensively as we promised. Benintendi, Bradley Jr., and Betts. They are talented, and they can all go get the baseball. Nunez, Bogarts, Kinsler, and Moreland. Swihart behind the plate with Johnson on the mound. Just talking about their outfield. Benintendi, 10 outfield assists. Betts over in right, 16 defensive runs saved. 2nd most in the American League.
Well, they've got a number of MVP candidates on this team. Mookie Betts right there being one of them.
Plural.
That's right. J.D. Martinez for sure, as that one is fouled at the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Anderson. And their first-year skipper, Alex Cora, who has led this team to the best record in baseball as we approach the 1st of September. Hoping to get, I'm sure, among other things, into October, but at least in terms of the regular season, on pace for a franchise record in wins. As Kinsler makes the play to retire Anderson.
Well, it's been an interesting go, and it's been an interesting week. A lot of talk around town about how the Boston Red Sox could be fixed, and we showed up and like, what are you trying to fix? They're 90 and 42. They're 46 and 18 at home, and you know, a lot of radio talk, if you will, has been, well, I don't want to say necessarily negative, but a bit negative based on how the team has played over the last week or so.
They have been in first place since July 2nd. As JT Realmuto takes a bit low. JT with 16 homers and 62 RBIs on the season, but in the midst of a bit of a slump right now as he grounds one to third. Eduardo Nunez. A 1-2-3 inning. We'll see Jose Urena when we come back. Sox come to the plate against Jose Urena. Let's take a look at their starting lineup, presented to you by Southwest. Mookie Betts at the top, hitting .336, 1 point below JD Martinez, who is having a terrific first year with the Boston Red Sox. Ian Kinsler, a guy who they picked up right around the trade deadline, is slotting in the number 7 spot, and Jackie Bradley Jr. rounds things out. He's in center field. Jose Urena on the mound. Extra rest in between this start and his last because of the suspension. But again, as we talked about in the open, his last one out was superb. A complete game against the Nats.
Well, he's making his team leading 26th start of the season. You mentioned it, coming off an outstanding one August 19th. That was it's the Nats. 14 groundouts. Did a fantastic job. Faced only 30 batters. That's 3 batters over the minimum. Just dominant stuff.
That'll add to that .336 batting average. A leadoff single for Mookie Betts.
Here's the Marlins defense for tonight's ball game. Dean once again in left. Galloway making his 12th start in the outfield tonight. 5th in center field. Ortega over in right. Anderson, Rojas, Castro, and Real Muno. Ryan Holiday behind the plate. 34 starts, no errors. He's done a very nice job behind the plate.
Andrew Benintendi takes a look at a ball a little north of the zone, and it's 1-0 to Benintendi, who is a shade under 300. 15 homers and 74 RBIs. Second in the American League Rookie of the Year vote last year. Aaron Judge taking home the award as Urena gets a check on Betts. Not much of a sophomore slump this year for Benintendi. Maybe some ups and downs along the way, yes, but again, overall at .294 at the start of play. Home plate umpire tonight is the crew chief, Paul Nauert. Scott Berry is over at first. Carlos Torres, the umpire, at second, and Nick Lentz is the umpire at third.
Now, this is going to be a good challenge for Urena tonight. What we know is he loves his fastball, loves to use it, 95+ miles an hour typically.
This one out to left, Dean back a step, and then in to make the play for the first out.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up, Boston Red Sox first in the American League with 160 hits on pitches 95+ miles per hour this season.
Alex Cora's got himself a good club. It's just a matter of getting back on track. And I'm sure that a lot of teams, well, heck, 29 other teams would sign up to be in the spot.
Have his issues
that the Red Sox are in
his
right
problems.
now. On pace for a cool 108 wins this year. Got 90 at the start of play. And as I mentioned before, a franchise record 105 wins back in 1912. But all these years the Red Sox have been around, only 3 100-win seasons.
Right. Well, they're in position to kind of break it down for the Marlins fans. If they go 16-14 the rest of the way, that's 2 games over 500. Now, of course, they played nowhere near that. They played well above that all season long. 16-14 the rest of the way gets it done. That gets them to 106.
And Moreland laces one out to right center field. Sliding to make the catch is Ortega. He'll throw back to first, but Betts is back. Nicely done by Ortega.
Well, so far so good for the Marlins outfielders. This is going to be a bit of a challenge tonight. This, as many will tell you, maybe one of the most difficult outfields in all of baseball. Most teams would love to say that they can march 3 center fielders out there and keep this thing covered. Ortega does a fantastic job of getting in line with that sinking line drive and making the catch. You see Ortega kind of in the shot all by himself. That kind of explains what he's got to cover. Not only right field, but right center.
Well, how about the fact that he's looking in at the foul pole?
That's right.
Well, you play behind the foul pole here.
And it jets out to him. He's actually kind of tucked into that corner just a bit.
JD Martinez, 337, 38 home runs, and 110 RBIs. An offseason sign for the Boston Red Sox. One of those moves that it seemed like it was a no-brainer that he'd end up here, and it just felt like it took forever for it to actually happen. A lot of back and forth, a lot of debate, but finally signed with them at the end of February. 5-year, $110 million contract. And at least through the first 5 months of the regular season, he has lived up to it.
Urania able to get ahead 0-2. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, this is going to be a little test. Of course, JD Martinez comes in pretty hot. Now, he has not homered in 7 straight games, but he's got a 6-game hitting streak. The reason I mention it is coming off back-to-back off days for the first time all season. Had Sunday off in Tampa, yesterday's off day.
He's been with the Astros, with the Tigers, with the Diamondbacks, and now with the Boston Red Sox. But he's got a little bit of, say, Jose Bautista, because he was in the news today, going from the Mets to the Phillies. A little bit of Jose Bautista in him, in which he was forced to kind of reinvent himself. We'll have time to talk about that throughout these couple of days as he flies out to end the first. Urania works around the leadoff single. Derek Dietrich and Austin Dean up against Brian Johnson for the Boston Red Sox here in inning number 2 on a warm night here in Boston. Castro at 10 homers and 46 RBIs on the season takes a look at a called strike. Since the start of the 2016 season, Castro a .320 hitter here at Fenway Park. A couple of years with the Yankees, so he got a number of games here. He's fared well in this yard. Ball is tapped foul. Ball and 2 strikes.
We've seen from Johnson already the use of that curveball. Likes to throw it. Sits at a 29% usage, right around 75 miles an hour. Hitters only hitting .209 against it. He has featured it here to the first 4 Marlins hitters. Lefties hitting .229, righties .272 with 10 home runs against Johnson on the season. So a lot more damage from the righties. .480 ERA here at Fenway Park.
Johnson has been all over the place, as we have said a couple of times already, but he's in the rotation now because Chris Sale is on the disabled list. Eduardo Rodriguez is on the disabled list as Castro chops one to Bogarts for the first out.
Winter is coming to Marlins Park.
Better.
Yeah. All right. Better. Join us as we celebrate Game of Thrones night this Friday. Declare your allegiance to House Targaryen, Stark, Lannister, or Tyrell when you purchase a ticket package. Receive an exclusive t-shirt with your house crest. Let's take a photo on the famous Iron Throne. Visit marlins.com/GOT.
Maybe next time you do it, either sit up straight, really open up the diaphragm, or just stand up. And then you can really
that deep voice we keep trying to work on.
Get into it. You know, I need to.
Yeah, it's Dev. You got to get into it.
Yeah. Just need you to sell it. That's all. I'm not asking for
I'm
much.
trying.
I'm just asking for all you've got.
You're already
That's
trying.
it.
You're asking me to drop a deep voice down even lower. It's kind of already at the bottom floor.
It's as good as it's going to get. All right. Ball and 2 strikes on Derek Dietrich, who is the DH tonight. Dietrich was 6 for 21 on the homestand, doubled a couple of RBIs. Got the Ram game break coming up in the 7th inning, so stay tuned. 1-2. A little low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. An 8-game hit streak for Derek Dietrich, which is tied for a career high in September of 2016, hitting 8 straight games. Tap foul at the plate, stays alive.
Yeah, it is pretty clear Brian Johnson's game plan is tonight against the Marlins. Heavy usage of the curve and slider. A lot of ways setting up that 4-seam fastball. Been struggling a little bit coming in. 3 earned runs or more last 4 starts.
Now, talk radio, probably a hungry fan base. You get it. But if you take a step back and just kind of analyze this club, they are not in a bad spot. Maybe not even with the pitching. As I mentioned, they'll get Rodriguez back perhaps over the weekend. They'll get Chris Sale back sometime in September. I don't know if they're counting down the magic number just yet to wrap up the division, but I think it's safe to say that they are gearing up for an October run as Dietrich is called out on strikes. So it's get guys healthy, it's stay healthy, and it's stay in some kind of a rhythm.
That's undeniable, because the way that the American League East has worked this year, it's been the Yankees, it's been the Red Sox. Now the question is, who's going to win the division? Of course, the Red Sox in a healthy position, the healthier position than the Yankees, and the point is, one will be the wild card, and the other one's going to win this division. That's undeniable.
Austin Dean takes that one low and in. Dean had a home run on the homestand, was 5 for 21 with the Yankees and Braves in town. Two balls in a strike to the Marlins left fielder. Last time out for Johnson was against the Cleveland Indians. Red Sox won that game 10-4. We talked a little bit earlier off camera about the schedule for the Red Sox in September, or at least here on out. It feels like they either have last place teams or teams that are at the bottom of their respective divisions, or they've got first place teams. They still have the Astros and the Indians and the Yankees. Dean sends one in the air toward left center field. Benintendi gives way for Jackie Bradley Jr., who makes the catch on the track for out number 3.
Fenway Park. Hey, Marlins fans, now you can stream games live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go, presented by Coors Light. Download the app and take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball wherever you go.
Jose Urena on the mound in the bottom of the second inning. Xander Bogaerts, Eduardo Nunez, and Ian Kinsler for the Red Sox here in the home half of the second inning. Bogaerts takes 95 miles an hour, low and in for ball 1. Bogaerts with a .283 average on the season, 19 homers and 84 RBIs. He snapped a 7-game hit streak on Sunday. 4 for 12 in that series. Shoots this one foul and out of Fenway Park.
Well, that's a pretty good example of what this lineup can do. That was 95 miles an hour, and he was out in front and out of Fenway Park. Foul. Bogaerts in this lineup, they have just been beastly this year. You mentioned some of the numbers, and a lot of the numbers, to me, improvements. I mean, last year they had 168 home runs. That was last in the American League. They've got 172 already. I know it's 7th, but they do everything else so well. They run the bases, doubles, OPS, slugging percentage, batting average, runs. And here's the kicker for me, and you'll appreciate this one. Second lowest strikeout rate in baseball at 19.7.
2 strikes. That one toward the gap in right center field. Cut off by Ortega, but Bogaerts on his way to second, and he will get there with a leadoff double.
Well, Bogaerts drops the barrel of the bat on a fastball away, low in the zone. Comes in with a career high 60 extra base hits on the season, make that 61. Into second base and setting up this Boston Red Sox offense here in inning number 2.
Well, it's been a nice bounce back season for Xander Bogaerts, who is at second for Eduardo Nunez, the Red Sox third baseman tonight. Nunez didn't mean to, but he fouled that one off, and it's 0-1.
Nunez riding a 5-game hitting streak, 6 for his last 18.
Rafael Devers also finds himself on the disabled list.
hamstring issue for him. They hope to get him back before the game on Friday against the White Sox. There might be a few roster moves for a few teams come this weekend with roster expansion on September 1st.
It's that time of year.
Inside to Nunez, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, we talk about it quite a bit. Today's not the day for it as we make our way there, but I'm always curious to see if baseball ever chooses to adjust a lot of the September rules, if you will. Most teams that are in it call up every available arm and bat, right? Help out, even if it's just for a third of an inning, if you will. They believe you can help them get to the postseason, they're probably going to call you up. Although if I were the Red Sox, I'm not sure I'd mess around too much.
Well, they're slumping now.
Right. Well, right. They need some more bats, right? After everything we've said.
Yeah. Ball and 2 strikes to Nunez. And here it comes from Urania to second base, backhanded by Castro, who'll get the out at first as Bogaerts moves up to third. A little earlier tomorrow night for the last of this 2-game series. It's Trevor Richards and David Price, the 2 starting pitchers, on the air at 6 o'clock with the Marlins Live pregame show. First pitch a little after 6:30 here at Fenway Park. Yes, 3-7. Yes, a 4.23 ERA, but as of late, Trevor Richards has been a lot better the last couple of months. He'll draw David Price, who has also been amazing as of late as well. Marlins play the infield in against Ian Kinsler, who was ahead of ball and no strikes. Chopped fair down the left field line. Kicks off the wall. Bogaerts will score easily, and Kinsler has an RBI.
You see the chop just in front of home plate. Jumps all the way over the third base bag and down into the corner. Kind of catches the edge there. Dean obviously not playing very deep with the wall. The Red Sox are going to pick up their first run of the ball game. The advantage that you gain as a hitter when you pull that infield in sometimes on display on the last base hit from Kinsler.
Blake Swihart, ball and no strikes. There haven't been many hits for Kinsler. With Boston, now it's just his 5th RBI. He's hitting .237 prior to that. Slash line was .237, .293, .263. So not getting on base, not hitting for much power, but he does put the Red Sox on the board early here with a run in the 2nd inning.
And they're certainly hoping that his career numbers start to play out. He's the elder statesman of the group, 36 years old, 4-time All-Star. He's won a Gold Glove, but you're right. Whatever they get from him, I think, will be appreciated as much in the leadership department as the production.
Of course, the Red Sox have been without Dustin Pedroia for the better part of this year. Cartilage restoration procedure. No one quite sure if he'll play again this year or not. A myriad of injuries for Pedroia the last few years. So they went out and got Kinsler, hoping for some sort of resurgence with his bat, but also to play some pretty good second base as well. 2-1 to Swihart. It's a little high.
That's going to be interesting tonight. We've told you about Jose Urania, the dominant fastball that we saw in the complete game against the Nationals. 69 fastballs in that start. If you go back to his great start against the Boston Red Sox, which was start number 2 of the season, He threw 41 sliders that day. It was actually the most sliders that he threw in any start, even coming into tonight. But again, it was a valuable pitch against a talented Red Sox lineup who we know can hit velocity.
Marlins have 3 on the right side of the infield as the runner goes on 3-2, and that one is fouled into the seats on the left side. Miguel Rojas, the shortstop, kind of playing up the middle, sort of double play depth. Everybody else on the right side of the infield. As Brian Anderson swung all the way around, almost playing a deep first base. Another 3-2. Kinsler goes, chopped to Castro, gets rid of it. They get the out at second and at first.
Oh,
a 4-6-3 double play. And that's how this inning ends. Sox with a 1-0 lead as we check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Paul, it is a Twitter and email Tuesday, and tonight we want to talk about some of the best players in the game. We want to hear from you on who you think the best legends in Major League Baseball are. Send your tweets to @FoxMarlins. Those emails can go to foxmarlins@gmail.com, and be sure to use that hashtag MLB Legends. Guys, how would you answer that question?
Well, there's a number of them around the game right now as Miguel Rojas is retired on the first pitch. You start with a guy like Mike Trout, probably Bryce Harper. Maybe even start to put a guy like Mookie Betts into that mix.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of this year, for sure.
Only thing working against Betts is his age. I mean, goodness gracious, this young man right here can do it all. Now he's on the verge of a 30-30 season.
Right. Right. Now, if I were to answer the question that Jessica asked properly, which I did not, and therefore teed you up like a dope, that was all time. So that's why Ted Williams, we zoom in on Ted Williams, and that to me was the cue of, hey, Paul, you missed it. So thanks, Jessica. Excellent work on your part. But yeah, I mean, Ted Williams, Carl Yastrzemski, a couple of guys that Don Mattingly mentioned prior to the game, and Ted Williams, the splendid splinter, would have turned 100 years old on Thursday as Isaac Galloway has gone over the green monster for a home run.
Oh, boy.
Galloway's second of his career.
Well, that is a special moment for the one Mr. Isaac Galloway. I'll tell you what, a hanging curveball, turns it around. Great swing, great moment. That has got to feel good. First ever at bat, first bat at Fenway Park. No doubter. Jackie Bradley Jr. did not even move in center field. Now there's the breaking ball. We talked about it a bunch first time through. My goodness, that is dead center up. Turned it right around.
Just the second of his career, and it has tied this game up at 1.
Tell you what, Galloway has created some moments for himself already. He's only making his 12th start since being called up at the beginning of the month. He's bided his time. He's waited for more opportunity, and when he gets it, I'll tell you, most of the time he's made good on it.
And now Brian Holiday testing the gap in right center. It's going to get down for a base hit. And Holiday is aboard with 1 out.
Holiday stays hot here in the month of August. Came in hitting .318. Add to that with a good swing on another breaking ball.
Now back to the top of the order for Rafael Ortega, who flew out to Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field back in the first. Cuts and misses 0-1. Foul away into the upper deck. Just bouncing around there for a second. Fortunately, somebody's got the souvenir.
That'll be interesting to see how Johnson chooses really to go about it the second time through the lineup. Has not really moved off of using those secondary pitches as his primary attack in every at bat. He's pitched a little backwards like you see there. The fastball coming late. Between Galloway and Holiday, pretty good example of, if you want to go up there, maybe sit on a curveball, you'll probably get one. Johnson dials up this fastball, 89 miles an hour on the outside edge. It's a fastball to play up a bit by throwing more breaking stuff early.
Here's Brian Anderson. A ground out back in the first inning. Taps that one foul. These two teams have seen each other before. These two have seen each other before as well. The two Bryans. And it was Anderson that won the battle. His first career home run back in April.
Yeah, that was impressive. A 204 seam fastball away to deep right field. See all his teammates celebrating with him. We were pretty giddy up here in the booth. Well, in Miami anyway.
And now this one toward left center. And that's going to go high off the monster. Holiday is being held up at third as Anderson has himself a double.
Great swing of the bat. Reliving history against Johnson while Brian Anderson was busy making history here at Fenway Park. Great swing, elevated, high off the monster and left. His first career hit at the ballpark.
The Marlins have had 3 hits in this inning. The Galloway home run, the Holiday single, and now the Anderson double. Look to add to it and perhaps take the lead with JT Realmuto at the plate. One bounces in and it's blocked by Swihart. Time for the Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. JT Realmuto with the highest, third highest that is, pull percentage against lefties since the All-Star break in 2017.
Highest in the National League.
ground ball to third base his first time up. As he takes a look at a ball that's just outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Thinking back to Anderson's double off the wall, it's always a good feeling when you see the center fielder and left fielder for the Red Sox turn their backs, because they have to do it early, almost to play their hand.
Lined right to Kinsler, who was up the middle. Marlins strand a couple, but they score one. Isaac Galloway with his second career home run. Red Sox go to the bottom of the third inning. Paul Severino, Todd Hollinsworth, and Jessica Blaylock back with you here at Fenway Park in Boston. As the Marlins take on the best team in baseball in terms of win percentage. Jackie Bradley Jr. taps that one foul. It's 9-1-2 due up for the Red Sox. Bradley Jr. followed by Mookie Betts and Andrew Benintendi.
Bradley, 692 OPS, lowest since his first full season in the big leagues. He's had a down year offensively, but boy, oh boy, is he having one heck of a season on the defensive end. He's made a number of highlight catches.
Fall off from last year to this year, but the defense has not been affected at all.
No, absolutely not. I guess if you're going to have a down year, this is the year with everybody else making up for the difference. Now, he has hit well here at Fenway Park. His OPS up near 773.
He lines the base hit into center field to get things going in the third.
Join the Marlins for the biggest watch party of the season, presented by Corona Light. See your Marlins take on the Boston Red Sox, Tarpon Bend, and Coral Gables tomorrow night at 6:35. Music by DJ Vertigo. Meet Billy the Marlin, win giveaways and prizes. Enjoy food and drink specials throughout the game.
So that'll bring up Mookie Betts. One on, nobody out here in the third. A leadoff single back in the first for Betts. Takes a called strike. Well, one of the reasons why I threw his name out, and I'm not the only one doing it, but for the MVP, he's second. This is at the start of the day. Second in Major League Baseball in average, third in on-base percentage, third in slugging, third in OPS, second in runs. And among AL leaders, 147 hits is top 10. His homers top 10. His extra base hits are fourth. 26 stolen bases is fifth. He's good.
That's the four-letter word you came up with.
He's good.
Good.
He's good. Yeah. would you expect? A vocabulary?
Well, I mean,
I don't go to MIT for crying out loud.
He's 25 years old, and he's doing all of this.
So best. Good
best
was
hitter,
bad. Wrong
best strike zone
superlative.
judgment, best base runner, most exciting player, best defensive outfielder. The question is, what's left? Listen, we could have started this conversation with what doesn't he do well, and maybe if we found that answer, it would be a little bit more exciting.
Right. I was a couple of rungs down on the superlatives.
That's right.
Evidently.
Well, listen, you know how I put my notes together. He was like a sheet all by himself. And here's the kicker: if you're a Boston Red Sox fan, he's 25 years old.
Now, there is a lot.
My goodness.
A lot to like if you're a supporter of the Boston Red Sox.
Well, not only that, and I loved it. Listen. People think professional athletes. Listen. That's the great thing about baseball. They come in all shapes and sizes. 5'9", 180 pounds. Right. And you want to be a big league ball player? Yeah. Well, start with that guy.
Yeah. Saw Tony La Russa and Dave Dombrowski. In on the hands, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Betts. Andrew Benintendi waits on deck.
One more thing on Betts, and I love to say this stuff too. 5th round pick. You think you see that kind of talent? Well, wait. What part of the 1st round did he go in? Which pick? 1 through 10? Where?
Right.
No, 5th rounder.
Runner goes. That one inside. And the Red Sox have 2 on and nobody out here in the 3rd. First walk issued by Urania tonight. Pitching coach Juan Nieves charts the pitches and looks on as Urania will try to pitch out of this 2 on, nobody out jam in the 3rd inning against Andrew Benintendi, who flew out in the 1st.
Well, you see the outstanding numbers at the bottom of your screen. 294 hitter. Good changeup. 15 homers and 74 RBIs. Here's one thing that impresses you about this young man, who's 24 years old as well. He's a career .350 hitter with runners in scoring position. This is where he elevates his game. That's on the season.
Well, Urania ahead now, 0-2, and could use a ground ball. He had 14 of them in his last start. It was the most ground outs that he had had since June 15th against Baltimore, when he had a season high 17 ground ball outs. A little high, ball and 2 strikes. And those 2 starts are linked because the last time out against the Nationals, his first road win since June 15th in Baltimore. Against the Orioles that day, he went 8 innings and gave up 3 hits. Last time out, first Marlins complete game since Edinson Volquez's no-hitter last year. And Benintendi lines one up the gap in right center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. will score. Betts being held at 3rd. And it's a 2-1 Red Sox lead on the Benintendi double.
Now, one thing that we mentioned early on, Paul, the ability to turn around velocity. This Boston Red Sox team does it as well as anybody in baseball. You see the movement on the 96-mile-an-hour 2-seam fastball. Benintendi all over it. Line drive into the right center field gap. Scores Bradley Jr. easily. Betts on his way to 3rd.
So 2 in scoring position now for Mitch Moreland. Ryan Anderson, the only Marlin on the left side of the infield, is even with the 3rd base bag. It's ball 1 to Moreland. Flew out to right center field. Ortega, a nice sliding catch for the 2nd out in the 1st.
Moreland, first-time All-Star in 2018. Struggling a bit here in the 2nd half. Sitting just 196.
It's his 28th game since the All-Star break. Reina's got his hands full tonight against the Red Sox. They are a very good team everywhere, but especially at home, where they are a Major League best 46-18 here at Fenway Park. It's the most home wins in baseball. Reason for the shift: StatCast AI powered by AWS. makes some sense.
It's amazing. We show this. We try to show this every night, and I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. Good change up at the bottom of the zone. Gets Moreland 90 miles an hour. You ever notice the Marlins defenders are always on the lines of the StatCast AI? I love it. We've seen some other teams that kind of are in the middle of it,
right?
Which to me is like, yeah, you're not playing by the rules here.
Right.
Every time. Perfectly placed, almost right on those lines.
Well, Perry Hill wears glasses, which obviously have the StatCast AI in them. It has to be in.
The inventor of StatCast.
That's right. They are through those glasses. He's got special glasses, like X-ray glasses. He's got StatCast glasses. They have walked J.D. Martinez intentionally to load the bases, and now out to the mound goes the pitching coach Juan Nieves as Xander Bogaerts set to dig in.
Well, and again, the relentlessness of this Boston Red Sox lineup. Xander Bogaerts happens to be the best run producer on this team, and I think it's been a pretty quiet season just in terms of everybody else that seems to be getting the attention. And you see his numbers on the season: 284, 19 home runs, 84 RBIs, 345, 431, 748 with runners in scoring position. Major League best, 25 extra base hits, 10 homers, 75 RBIs.
Out to Dean in left, who's able to charge it. Mookie Betts on his way in from third, and that throw a bit too high. It's 3-1 Boston.
Let's give you a quick look. Bogaerts catches it just off the end of the bat. Dean gets some momentum going through. This throw high, but on line. See Holiday ranging high for it. Cost him a step or two as that slides in under the tag.
One to Eduardo Nunez, who grounded out and takes that one just outside. 1-1. Nunez came into tonight hitting .328 his last 46 games against National League clubs. Blocked by Holiday. No advance at second by Benintendi.
Yeah, nice job by Holiday sliding out, keeping that in front.
Had to work to the tune of 24 pitches in this third inning. A single, a walk, an RBI double. A strikeout, an intentional walk, and a sac fly have given the Red Sox a 3-1 edge as Nunez chops one to Rojas. On the run makes the play, but Boston scores two in the third to take a 3-1 lead. Fourth inning. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. A strike to Starlin Castro to lead things off here in the fourth. Castro, Dietrich, and Dean. Brian Johnson quickly delivers as Castro sends one out to center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. drifting up against the wall, and that's going to be extra bases for Castro. He's on his way to third, and he is in there safely with a leadoff triple. Well, that might be a perfect example, or an example, of how three guys, I was talking with Isaac Galloway about this before, three outfielders need to play every position here at Fenway Park.
And at best, if they're athletes, they can go get the baseball. You're right, because you got to back up an awful lot. Bradley climbs, tries to probably, if he had to do this all over again, I'll tell you, he probably should have made the catch because he did a fantastic job of getting himself into position. Great swing by Castro on a breaking ball, about thigh high, but boy, oh boy, you saw Bradley almost pull that off the top of the wall. In the meantime, Castro over at third. Let's take another look. We've seen a number of breaking balls that have come in thigh high, and Marlins hitters are turning them around.
Cut on and missed by Dietrich, 0-2. Castro entered the night a .327 hitter against the Red Sox, which was fourth among active players. He's got himself a triple to get the Marlins going here in the fourth. Three runs in the first 3 innings for Brian Johnson, who in August is 3-0 despite a .587 ERA. 5 games and 4 starts. Dietrich called out on strikes. South Florida Honda dealers present Marlins Live, the pregame show. Craig Minervini and Tommy Hutton, along with Jeff Nelson from the studio in South Florida. Trevor Richards and David Price, the 2 starting pitchers tomorrow night. Third strikeout for Johnson tonight. He's gotten Dietrich twice, both looking. As Dean takes low and in. And to finish that thought on Johnson, in August, I said 3-0 with a .587 ERA. He's made 4 starts, and in those starts, 10.5 runs of support.
Yeah, that's really been the story of Boston pitching now on the season. .358 ERA, second best in the American League with the last 8 games. .627. Johnson's certainly been part of it, but so have a few others. Their starters have struggled, thus the panic that we kind of were talking about early on that we heard so much about here in Boston over the last day or so. Panic, 9 wins. I mean, come on. 2-1 to Austin Dean. Well, we saw strike 3 on Dietrich, and that strike right there, right at the bottom of the zone. But Paul Nauert giving Johnson the benefit of both calls. It's now 3-1 to Dean. Well, it feels a little bit like the Dodgers last year. The Dodgers went and lost 11 straight games right at the beginning of September, after they had put together, as Dean walks,
it's easy to beat the heat when you become an energy-saving expert. Go to FPL.com/beattheheat.
So the Dodgers went on they were 91-36. In fact, right around the same time. August 25th, they won a game to improve to 91-36. Then they won 1 game over their next 20 so games. Right?
Well, that's legit though, right?
Right. They were 93-52 when they finally came out of it.
Right.
So this is that same kind of pocket that the Red Sox are in. Same part of the season. Now, granted, this is 6 losses in 8 games. I don't think the sky is truly falling right now.
No, but it's the same type of panic. And a lot of times, and I certainly get this, you even feel this as a player. When you play at a certain level all season long and that level changes, for whatever reason it might be, even a short pocket, small pocket, or a big one like the Dodgers went through,
panic starts to set in just a little bit. You start to question the process. I think that's kind of what's been going on here in Boston. Now, I think one advantage, follow me on this, one advantage the Boston Red Sox have this season that the Dodgers didn't have last season is they got a Yankees team pushing them. They're right there knocking on the door.
I'll buy that. Marlins knocking on the door as Rojas pops this one up. This will be Moreland for the second out in the inning. The big second out for Johnson. It's the Coors Light refreshing finish as Isaac Galloway digs in. He went deep over the monster, just to the left of straightaway center field. Back in the third inning, got the Marlins on the board. Chance to score more runs here. First and third and 2 outs. That one 428. Where that 37-foot high monster in left field goes all the way from the foul pole to, again, just to the left of straightaway center field.
An impressive swing of the bat. Now 11 home runs to right-handed batters. Guessing a few on the curveball. In fact, 4 on the curveball.
That one got Galloway's bat. Ball and a strike.
It's a big at bat for the Marlins, certainly for Galloway. Starlin Castro started this inning off with a leadoff triple. He is still standing at third base.
One to Galloway, misses low. 3 balls and a strike. Brandon Workman up for the Red Sox. As Johnson's up to 60 now, 7 pitches, but he may get out of this one as Kinsler on the outfield grass makes the play. Marlins get a leadoff triple, but strand 2 through 3.5. Is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. The Cleveland Clinic, stiff joints, aches and pains. Trust Cleveland Clinic, Florida, the #1 orthopedic care in Florida. And by Simply Healthcare, Live the Simply Life. Statue of Yaz, Carl Yastrzemski, outside Fenway Park. Been a lot of, as Jessica talked about before, a lot of great baseball players who have passed through and played here as a member of the Boston Red Sox. At the forefront of that list is some of those guys that are retired out there: Ted Williams, Carlton Fisk, Yastrzemski, that never won a World Series. Bobbled by Rojas. He is able to recover and get Kinsler. How about that?
Well, Miguel Rojas recovers 2 times to make the play at first. 1, 2, get rid of it. There you go. It's your Bonefish Grill. First catch of the day. Nice job there. Kinsler hit this ball pretty hard, so he didn't get out of the box too terribly quick. Bobble still got him by a couple steps.
A strike to Blake Swihart at the bottom of the zone. 0-1. Swihart grounded into an inning-ending double play back in the second. And flies one out to Dean in left here in the fourth.
The Red Sox box score, a couple of hits at the top really have stirred things up. He runs in for the Red Sox here in the bottom of the fourth.
It's Jackie Bradley Jr. who singled and scored in the third. Urania looking for a bounce back inning. Couple of quick outs here in the fourth after he was up over 25 pitches in the third. 2-0 to Jackie Bradley Jr. is in there for a called strike.
I told you that Jackie Bradley had been struggling on the season. He's been a little bit better here in the second half. 14 of his 29 hits, including 5 home runs, have gone for extra bases.
Cut on and missed, and that is the bounce back inning that Urania needed. Through 4 at Fenway Park. Marlins trail this one 3-1. 8th inning, 9-1-2. Holiday, Ortega, and Anderson against Brian Johnson. First pitch to Holiday is grounded into, or at least toward, the Marlins dugout. 0-1. A single for Holiday in the 3rd. But in the 4th, the Marlins had their chances. A leadoff triple for Starlin Castro, and then it was 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Miguel Rojas popped up. Isaac Galloway also popped up. Inning over.
When you combine the most provocative man in sports with the most interesting man in sports, you get opinions that cut through the hype. Speak for yourself. Colin Cowherd, Jason Whitlock. Weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1.
Again, Brandon Workman up in the Red Sox bullpen. 70 pitches for Johnson, as this one is a fly ball out to Betts in right. One away. We check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Paul, when you think of Fenway, you think of the Green Monster. And earlier today, a couple of Marlins players had a chance to leave their mark inside of it. Before batting practice, guys like Adam Conley, JT Riddle, and Brett Graves went inside the Monster. They had a chance to look around, see guys that had signed the wall before them, but then they all grabbed a marker and left their mark inside of it as well. So a really cool moment for those players. Now, Paul, I have a question for you. You went to school in Beverly, which is right outside of Boston. How did I do with the accent?
I'll give you a B+.
A B+? No, I was looking for an A+. Anything less than that is not good
Just
enough.
not good enough. Well, it was good. I think you just need to mix in more words. That's all. I think there was like, would you like mix like 2 words in there? You really got to lay it on thick.
I parked my car at Harvard Yard.
All right, better.
Better?
See? That's
all right.
better. Yeah.
All right,
now you're
thanks.
up into like the A-. That's good.
I'll keep working on it.
You might have plenty of time to work on it because Alex Cora has come out to make a pitching change after the line drive single for Rafael Ortega. 1 on, 1 out in the 5th. The Florida Lottery call to the bullpen here at Fenway Park. See like that. As we have a pitching change here in Boston. It was just 4 1/3 for Brian Johnson before Brandon Workman comes in to work around this 1-on situation. 1 on, 1 out. New Monopoly jackpot scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery are a new spin on the classic. They're loaded with prizes from $10,000 to $2 million. So unleash the excitement anytime. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. So Workman comes in his 31st game this season. And again, we talked about it somewhat jokingly earlier about what the Red Sox lack is that long man because, well, Brian Johnson had been that guy, and now here we are. He comes out of the game. 5th inning, you're looking for a guy to get you some outs.
Well, and you almost probably, well, I think most of us feel like Alex Cora is making this move based on the fact that you had the off day yesterday. You've got a bullpen that is fresh, and you trust certainly a few of those guys down there. You know, you pair that with Johnson's kind of coming out of the bullpen, but here's the kicker. David Price, who's one of the hottest guys in the game, is going tomorrow night. You're expecting a long start from him as well.
So Workman will face Anderson, but first to check on Ortega over at first base.
Workman, last time out, gave up a solo home run to Tommy Pham of the Rays.
Of the Rays, yes.
That's right. We're all getting used to that. 2.08 ERA over his last 8 appearances. Four-seam fastball, curve, and cutter. 91, 92 miles an hour. Cutter in the 87-mile-an-hour range. He's pitched well at Fenway Park. 1.17 ERA.
Cut on and missed. Above the zone, 0-2 to Anderson, who doubled back in the third. Now, coming into tonight, his last 15 games just .222, but we talk about it all the time. If you make solid contact, the hits will fall. And over the course of the last 2 weeks, Anderson had a 43% hard hit contact rate. And he hit the double at 94 miles an hour. Ortega goes. Throw from Swihart is in time.
Well, my goodness, everything was in Ortega's favor up until Kinsler took a high throw, and a quick swipe tag on the backside gets him right up just below the neck. Ortega was going to get that one. As much as we've talked about controlling the run game throughout this season and over the last few, tell you what, second baseman, shortstops have also improved, and I think we got a pretty good example of that right there. Kinsler, Gold Glove winner in his career.
Now 2 outs for Anderson. That one bounces in, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Count runs full to the Marlins' third baseman.
The Red Sox bullpen has done a pretty nice job on the season. 3.35 ERA as a unit, 4th in the American League.
Anderson walks, and we tell you that Marlins fans, you can join Fox Sports Florida and Coors Light at Twin Peaks tomorrow night in Davie to watch the Marlins take on the Red Sox. Enjoy great Coors Light specials and win prizes all night long at Twin Peaks in Davie at 2000 South University Drive. Ball and no strikes to JT Realmuto, who is 0 for 2. That line out that ended the third inning. Another hard hit ball for Realmuto. Just can't seem to get him to fall in. Now 1 for his last 20.
Now let's try something here. His next home run will tie a career high.
Okay.
He's got 16. We're looking for 17 at some point. Just throwing it out there.
Not far off from the ribbies either, is he?
No.
His career mark in ribbies.
65 is his career mark. He needs 3 to get there.
Line is complete on Johnson. 4 1/3, 5 hits, a run, a walk, 3 strikeouts. comes the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball. That one's going to get through. A base hit for Real Muto. Marlins have 2 on and 2 out in the 5th.
All right, a step in the right direction. Marlins will certainly take it. So JT. 2-strike swing. He gets a cut fastball. 87 miles an hour. Stays on it. Bangs it through the left side. They're still looking for that big hit. They've had traffic on the last 3 innings. Only the Galloway home run to show for it.
They left 2 on each of the last 2. They've got 2 on right now for Castro, who's well over a 300 hitter here at Fenway Park the last couple of seasons. Added to that with that triple off the center field wall over Jackie Bradley Jr.'s head back in the 4th inning.
Castro looking for his 40th multi-hit game on the season.
Looking to tie Brian Anderson, who is at second base. Real Muto on at first as Workman delivers. And a high chopper to Nunez, who will step on the third base bag. Anderson was out of the baseline anyway. Inning over. 3-1 Red Sox. As we go to the last of the 5th inning. Marlins have a triple in this game thanks to Starlin Castro, but it was on this date in 1995 that Jesus Tavares became the first Marlin to have 2 triples in the same game. 3 for 4. The 6-4 Marlins win at home. 3 homers, 33 RBIs, and 12 stolen bases in his career, but had 3 triples. Jesus Tavares this day in 1995. Jose Urena on the bump tonight. And in the 5th inning, he'll face the top of the Red Sox order, Mookie Betts, Andrew Benintendi, and Mitch Moreland. Benintendi, or Betts that is, chops that one foul, a ball and a strike. 65 pitches to this point for Urena, coming off his first career complete game. That one inside to Betts. 2-1.
Now back-to-back changeups from Urena.
Well, it was the first Marlins complete game since Edinson Volquez had the no-hitter in 2017. It was the first Marlins road complete game since Ricky Nolasco against the Washington Nationals in September of 2012, as Betts sends a fly ball out to center field for Galloway. And he was the 8th pitcher in club history to record a road complete game with 2 hits or fewer. Benintendi. An RBI double. Is this a cue shot? Urania, strong throw to get Benintendi. A little help from Anderson. 2 away. He may have lost his footing. Looks to be all right. Time for the Chevrolet Prospect Spotlight. Sean Reynolds with Batavia down at A ball. Last night was 3 for 5, couple of home runs. A 4th round pick of the Marlins back in 2016.
Yeah, Reynolds, a big guy, 6'7", up near 240 pounds. Got some pop in that bat. 18 home runs on the season, 45 RBIs.
Both of those lead the New York Penn League. Also in runs scored with 46. As Mitch Moreland takes ball 1.
Moreland 0 for 2 on the night.
We've seen a bit of an uptick in velocity for Urania the last few starts. It was up to 98 miles an hour late in the ball game last time out. 98, 99 miles an hour in the 9th inning. We've seen some of that same velocity here tonight. Trying to get through 5 innings of work, but he misses low to Moreland. The 3rd walk of the night issued by Urania. 1 on and 2 out for Boston. Time for the Toyota Inside Look. JD Martinez, last couple of seasons, 2nd in average, homers, tied for 2nd in ribbies, and 1st in slugging percentage. And offers at the first pitch, grounds that one foul. 0-1. One more look at this. I mean, these numbers are phenomenal for JD Martinez.
Yeah, they really are. And since the trade from Arizona last July 19th, 186 games. How about this triple slash line? 325, 394, 685. As I mentioned, 186 games, 230 hits, 67 of them home runs. Fair to say he is the game's premier power hitter?
It would be hard to argue. Born in Miami, went to Nova Southeastern University. Went to Flanagan High School in Pembroke Pines. Shoots this one out to right field, but that is a big field out there and enough room for Ortega to make the catch. Through 5. We'll check in with the studio after the break. This one 3-1. Don Mattingly looks on, of course, played a number of games in this ballpark as a longtime member of the New York Yankees. He's managed here before, but back with the Marlins here in 2018. Dietrich, Austin Dean, and Miguel Rojas against Brandon Workman. We've got the last out of the 5th inning. Last 2 outs, I should say, on in relief of Brian Johnson. Called strike to Dietrich, who's been called out on strikes a couple of times tonight. Some borderline pitches going against Dietrich. Loosens for the Red Sox in their bullpen. Dietrich pops this one up, shallow left, and it's going to be Bogaerts to make the catch over his shoulder. Nunez and Bogaerts went back with Benintendi coming in, and it was Bogaerts to make the grab for the first out.
They made this look pretty simple. First look, see Bogaerts, yeah, I guess at the last second, it almost made it look like as he was catching the baseball, he wasn't even looking. Oh, wow. Watch his head at the last second. He turns away. He didn't catch that with his eyes on it. My goodness.
Now Dean, who takes ball 1 upstairs. Red Sox are supremely talented around the diamond, whether they do the fundamental things or not, like keep your eye on the ball.
Right. We can close our eyes and catch the ball. Why not?
Yeah, it's been that kind of year for this club, I suppose. Dean a fly out and a walk tonight. You know, Craig gave us the score out in Philadelphia with the Phillies up on the Nationals, and maybe not the same type of pitcher's duel as Scherzer's given up the 3 runs. But Scherzer and Nola going head-to-head once again for the 2nd time in a week or so, as Jackie Bradley Jr. will make the catch.
It's easy to beat the heat when you become an energy-saving expert. Go to FPL.com/beattheheat.
So Philadelphia with a lead, 3.5 back of the Braves in the National League East, as the Braves are at home for the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays lead that one 2-1 in the 4th inning. Still a lot of baseball left in both cities, however. Tonight, that is. Miguel Rojas takes a called strike. The out-of-town scoreboard still manual here in the Green Monster. No shortage of charm and history in this ballpark. Chopper. Nunez gets Rojas. And a 1-2-3 6th inning. Home half coming up. scoreboard being adjusted manually in between innings. 5th inning in Philadelphia. It's a little bit like Wheel of Fortune, right?
Well,
Right.
you know, Wheel of Fortune, they just touch the letters now, and it's
Well, it's all technology now, but the gist of it is the same.
okay.
I'm not saying that guy looks like Vanna White or anything. That's not where I was going.
No,
Just that simply.
neither am I.
Right.
All she does is touch the letters,
Right.
and they light up.
There is a chance. I heard a little birdie. There's a chance. I don't know if you're into this. Maybe another Green Monster tour tomorrow.
Oh, how about that?
Do you think you might be into that?
Maybe.
Have you done that before?
I
you been
have.
Inside? Oh, you have. Have you signed it?
Sign the wall.
Oh, well, you don't need to go. You waste of space down there. Long throw across the diamond by Anderson. Oh, man. An absolute cannon to get Bogarts for the first out in the 6th.
I'll tell you what, anytime Brian Anderson gets to show off that arm, tune in and pay attention. It is fun to watch. Look at this. Frozen rope across the diamond. Man. There's Bogarts just now coming into your picture.
This is Eduardo Nunez with 1 out. A couple of ground outs for him tonight as this one is fouled off. So you've signed the wall, have you? When was that?
I have. One of the first times I was here.
How many times did you play here? Passed through here a lot or not?
No,
Not really.
a few times. 3. But I have been in there, and I have signed the wall.
Nice. Is it as cramped as
Yep.
it looks? Sure is. This is Nunez off the top of the wall and over the wall. Third base umpire Nick Lentz signaling home run for Eduardo Nunez. There is a little ledge that is beyond a very faint line at the top of that wall, and it looked like that's where that ball hit. So at the moment, it's a home run for Nunez and a 4-1 lead for Boston.
Well, let's take another look at it. John Mattingly wants the game to continue on. That certainly tells you where this ball ends up. Right in front of the light tower. I believe it hits. Yep. Sure does. Just over the wall. That's some padding right there in front of the light tower. You can almost see the ball mark right below that black piece of tape.
So that red line is, I think you can tell at home that it's kind of set back a little bit, but anything over that red line is a home run. Strike 2 Kinsler. So you see that little ledge right there. Of course, the monster seats have been up for a few years here at Fenway Park.
Well, the Red Sox offense did a pretty decent job against Urania tonight. He has certainly battled. Point being, they do respond to the long ball. 71 and 17 when the Red Sox homer.
Chopper to Rojas. Team play for the second out. Run in the second, 2 runs in the third, and the solo home run here in the 6th against Urania. As Blake Swihart steps into the box with nobody on and 2 out. Joe Kelly for the Red Sox in their bullpen. Swihart grounded into a double play in the second inning and flew out in the 4th. wide of first base. 3-1 to Swihart, who gets the start behind home plate tonight. Christian Vasquez, another Red Sox player who is currently on the mend. Broken right pinky finger, expected to be back by what else? The start of September. The roster's expanded. Grounded, foul.
Well, you get to September 1st, you don't have to take anybody off. You just continue to add to your heart's desire.
Right. Every team does it. Marlins will do it. Red Sox will do it. Marlins will hope to get the likes of Lewis Brinson back and Martin Prado back. You'd figure that they would add a third catcher, some bullpen arms, although nothing officially announced yet by the Marlins. We'll have to wait a few days as Real Muto makes the play right on the line to retire Swihart. But a solo home run for Eduardo Nunez has given the Red Sox a 4-1 lead.
Cancer on Saturday as the Marlins take on the Blue Jays. Arrive early and receive a Go Gold hat. A portion of the proceeds will benefit local childhood cancer organizations in South Florida. Visit marlins.com/go gold today.
First it was Brian Johnson, then Brandon Workman, now Joe Kelly on to pitch the 7th inning for the Boston Red Sox. He'll face Isaac Galloway, Brian Holiday, and in the top of the order, Rafael Ortega. 60th game this season for Joe Kelly, who since moving to the bullpen full time last couple of seasons has certainly found an uptick in velocity.
3.93 ERA. You mentioned the 60 appearances. That is a new single season career best for Joe Kelly and leads the Boston Red Sox this season. Now, one thing Joe Kelly is not lacking: velocity. Fastball average sits at what you just saw, 98 miles an hour.
That one at 99, a little outside to Isaac Galloway, who homered back in the 2nd inning. A solo home run that, of course, at the moment, the only run scored by Miami. They've left 6 runners on base.
Kelly's 2 primary off-speed pitches, the slider and curve. Kelly's got a good changeup as well, but he typically saves it for the lefties.
Here's his 1-2 pitch to Galloway. Fouls that one off at 99 miles an hour. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Kelly, originally a third-round pick in 2009 by the St. Louis Cardinals. Came over in the middle of 2014 from St. Louis. Last 2 years, a full-time reliever. Another 1-2 pitch from Kelly. In there, a called strike 3. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Paul, it is a Twitter and email Tuesday tonight here at Fenway, and we have got a Twitter poll that we want you to participate in. We're talking about MLB legends. So of the following selections, who is the greatest MLB legend? Is it Babe Ruth? Is it Jackie Robinson, Ted Williams, or Willie Mays? And if you don't see your choice on there, be sure to submit it to us. You can send emails to foxmarlins@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at foxmarlins. And as you can see, guys, right now, Babe Ruth with that commanding lead.
Jessica, thanks. Brian Holiday pops this one up behind first base. Mitch Moreland will make the play. Well, the 4 that were on that list, legendary for many different reasons. Of course, Babe Ruth making the game so popular. Jackie Robinson certainly doing what he did, breaking baseball's color barrier in 1947. Ted Williams, the last guy to hit over 400. And you could argue Willie Mays maybe the best all-around player that's ever played. Those are 4 great choices.
Right. Kind of sided with Splendid Splitter. Hips Before Hands, the book. Lefty. Being a lefty, kind of studied up the swing and obviously watched, well, didn't watch, literally watch, but understood. Still see it kind of black and white. That swing that where the hips kind of lead and they open up, and it kind of opens up that front side, and you can see why one of the best pull hitters the game has ever seen.
Did you say pull or pure?
Pull.
Or both?
Pull. Well, how about a pure pull hitter?
There you go. That works too. Of course, Ted Williams always in that same conversation as Joe DiMaggio. Those 2 guys with great seasons throughout their careers, of course, but always linked with that 1941 season when Ted Williams hit .406 and Joe DiMaggio won the MVP that year. He had the 56-game hit streak. But the thing of it all is that if those 2 guys played in the opposite ballparks, their numbers would be even better.
Right.
Some surmise. Ted Williams had the short porch at the old Yankee Stadium. If Joe DiMaggio had this green monster.
Well, maybe we'll get a little bit of that this year. And they might be teammates. J.D. Martinez and Mookie Betts in the American League. They're only separated by 1 point in the batting title race currently.
That's right. Yeah, Betts has overtaken Martinez because Martinez 0 for 2. He's at 335, and Betts 1 for 2. He's at 336.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's a 3-man race, really, when you look at the numbers in the American League. J.D. Martinez, Mookie Betts, and Altuve.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He can still hit.
Sure he can. Like a little friendly competition.
Payoff pitch on the way to Ortega. Lines this one out to Jackie Bradley Jr. and Adam Ball to end the top of the 7th. 4-1 Red Sox. Worth Jessica Blaylock here at Fenway Park. The night is done for Jose Urena after 6 innings. Kyle Bearclaw is in his 53rd game as they continue to work him back into the mix in the back end of the Marlins bullpen.
A good clean inning on Saturday. It's the Atlanta Braves. His first game back. 1 inning, 1 hit, no earned runs. Solid numbers on the season. You've been following along. You certainly know the story. Claus had some absolute periods of dominance and then ran into a wall just before going on the disabled list. Dealing with some things. A couple of innings leading into, like I said, that trip to the disabled list. 5 walks, that's what stood out. Kind of lost the command and control that had made him so good for so long. 20 2/3 innings scoreless stretch in July, or I should say going into July, June and July.
It was the reliever of the month in June, and then parts of July were certainly good, and then the back half of July and into the early part of August prior to that DL stint, things just kind of got out of whack for Kyle Bearclaw. This is to Jackie Bradley Jr. It's Jackie Bradley Jr., Mookie Betts, and Andrew Benintendi. And he walks Jackie Bradley Jr. to lead off the 7th. Final line for Urena tonight: 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Gave up the home run to Eduardo Nunez in the 6th. A couple of runs allowed in the 3rd, and an Ian Kinsler RBI single in the 2nd. Here's the leadoff man, Mookie Betts, who's been on twice tonight: a single, a walk, and a run scored, and a flyout. Runner goes. Holiday's throw is in time to get Jackie Bradley Jr. at second. Well, he is not leaving the bag, so I wonder if he knows something we don't. And it looks like the Red Sox are going to challenge. So the crew chief, Paul Nauert, and the second base umpire, Carlos Torres, going to get on the headsets with New York. They're showing it in the ballpark, so you'll hear some jeers in a second.
It's good timing,
yeah.
Boy. Well, listen. Before we even had a chance to mention it, Bradley Jr. a threat out of the 9th spot in the lineup, and umpire's already finished. He's going to be safe at second base. Going into that attempt, 12 for 13 now, 13 for 14 this season. Stolen base attempts. And he stole that on Claw. Had a good 3 or 4 step jump. Strong throw by Holiday, but really no chance of getting Bradley.
So a runner in scoring position for Betts. 93% stolen base percentage. That will play.
101st stolen base on the season for the Boston Red Sox.
Well, the numbers certainly are what they are, but also the percentage at the start of the day was tied for second in Major League Baseball, 79%. Outside, 2 balls and a strike.
I mentioned that Betts had overtaken J.D. Martinez for the batting title lead in the American League, certainly being pushed by Altuve. For the National League, Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis actually are leading the Atlanta Braves and leading the National League. So you got 2 teammates in both divisions leading the way. If you're following along, that has never happened before in Major League Baseball. Of course, in the National League, you got 8 players within 6 points of each other. Sounds like it's going to be a photo finish in the National League.
I mean, is there any breathing room anywhere in the National League?
No, I don't think so.
Divisions, wild cards,
No.
batting titles, Cy Youngs. Jeez.
Exactly the way that you'd like it. Is lots of storylines, lots of teams, lots of players, lots of action, and a lot to be decided in September.
Well, speaking of that, it's probably arguably a 3-horse race for that NL Cy Young. Scherzer and Nola and DeGrom. Scherzer and Nola going head-to-head tonight. It is the Phillies up 3-0 on the Nationals as they play on in the 7th inning. And DeGrom pitching in Chicago tonight, 3 2/3 at the moment, no walks, 6 strikeouts. But you'll be surprised if I told you the Mets haven't scored any runs for him. It is an unfortunate theme for Jacob DeGrom.
Well, they score runs for him. It's just never when he pitches.
I guess that's in a roundabout way the truth. They entertain him on his 4 off days. I got you.
That's right. Well, jumping into the Phillies and Nationals game. My goodness. So you're saying that Nola is out in front again?
Out again.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That race is getting pretty tight. That would be. I don't think it's back-to-back. Last we talked about this. Maybe there was a start in between. Was there?
I don't believe so.
Because Nola beat Scherzer last. Well,
right.
The Phillies beat the Nationals. I'll say that's correct.
Right.
Last time.
But no, I think that was both their last starts. I would have to double check, but yeah. So right now Nola is at the moment, he is at a 2.06 ERA, and Scherzer is up to 2.22. Up to 2.22.
Well, I'm just kind of playing to the head-to-head stuff, though.
Right. No, I know. But
because,
I think they were both at 2.13
because as
after
much as
that last start.
As much as we shouldn't stare at the head-to-head, what do we think it is? It's head-to-head. Yeah.
Bearclaw going head-to-head with Mookie Betts here. A payoff pitch with Jackie Bradley Jr. on at second. That one up and in on Betts. Just 86 miles an hour, and it will put 2 Red Sox aboard for Andrew Benintendi.
Now back-to-back walks to start the 7th. This is the changeup. See it out of the hand, comes up and into Betts. See the release point. See Kyle look down at his right hand. Something wasn't right, either with the grip or the release. His dominant stretch, where he was virtually unhittable, had his entire arsenal working. As you see tonight, 12 pitches, 8 balls. Slider, changeup, fastball, all working seamlessly. We talked about this so often. Inning, 12 pitches, 13 pitches, day in and day out. And it seems now, we certainly hope he can work around this, but this was a bit of the theme that plagued him just before going on the disabled list.
Here is Benintendi. Bounced in front of home plate. And it's 1-0. Benintendi an RBI double in the 3rd. To Anderson, takes him right to the bag. Strong throw for the double play. Well, perfect situation for that one because the momentum took him right to the bag, and he's able to get 2.
I'll tell you, Brian Anderson looks so comfortable at third base now that he's been back at third over the last week or so. Nice job getting to that backhand. Strong throw across the diamond. Huge play for the Marlins.
Second double play that they have turned tonight. Here's Mitch Moreland with Mookie Betts on at second. Moreland takes a called strike. Moreland 0 for 2. Fly out, a strikeout, and a walk tonight. In the air, right field for Ortega. It wasn't easy, but Bearclaw gets out of trouble in the 7th. Big double play helps him out. Back here in Boston, Fenway Park for a short 2-game series. Marlins and Red Sox. Paul Severino, Todd Hollinsworth, and Jessica Blaylock. Glad that you were with us tonight. A 4-1 deficit for the Marlins as we go to the 8th inning. That's the 4th pitcher of the night for Boston. Brian Johnson started, went the first 4 1/3. Brandon Workman an inning and 2/3. Joe Kelly got the 7th, and now Matt Barnes in his 56th game this season will face Brian Anderson, JT Realmuto, and Starlin Castro.
Well, Barnes has been good for the Boston Red Sox. 88 punch-outs, 56 innings of work. Righty's hitting 138 against him. Lefty's 235. Well, he throws hard as well. Four-seam fastball sits in the 97-98 range. Primary, secondary pitch. The curveball. He does throw an occasional split.
Anderson not able to hold up on that 97-mile-per-hour offering. And it's a ball and a strike. Anderson a ground out, a double, and a walk. Barnes' baseball career hasn't taken him too far from where we are right now. Grew up in Connecticut, went to Bethel High School in Connecticut, then went to the University of Connecticut, and then a first-round pick, 19th overall back in 2011 by the Boston Red Sox. Bounces that one in, 2-2.
Marlins need base runners. Trail by 3 here in the top of the 8th.
And a line drive into right field, a base hit to start the 8th inning for BA. Another multi-hit game for Anderson.
Marlins fans join Fox Sports Florida and Coors Light at Twin Peaks tomorrow night in Davie to watch the Marlins take on the Red Sox. Enjoy great Coors Light specials and win prizes all night long as Twin Peaks in Davie, 2000 South University Drive.
JT Realmuto, base hit back in the 5th. That went upstairs. For Anderson, his 41st multi-hit game.
And he's had good at bats tonight, on base 3 times.
Balls and no strikes to Realmuto.
I'm probably not the first person to mention a push in the 8th inning for fear of what the Red Sox have in the 9th.
Oh, that Kimbrel fella?
Yeah. 37 saves on the season.
Realmuto gives this one a ride. Gone! A 2-run home run over the monster in left center field, and the Marlins have pulled to within a run. Well, there's that 8th inning push.
There's the 17th home run that we were looking for. Maybe in a batter so late, but you know what? You take it anyway. Great swing by JT Realmuto. My goodness, it had been a little while, but he unloads. How about turning around some velocity? Goodness.
So that ties a career high, his first home run since August 19th. Heck of a catch on the ricochet. That guy in the 2nd row.
We've talked about this a few times on the road. You know, the home run that stuns the crowd.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it here at Fenway. Good to see JT. My goodness. Galloway's was impressive, but that one silenced everybody here. Did you see how quiet it got?
Yes. And now Castro shoots one toward that triangle in right center field. That one is gone. Back-to-back home runs for the Marlins, as Castro has tied the game. It's not quiet at Fenway. Now they're booing. 4-4.
What a response. After missing on opportunities in the 4th, the 5th, the 6th. Oh my goodness, here in the 8th. Leadoff single by Anderson sets the stage. Back-to-back bombs by Realmuto and Castro. Castro going long towards the triangle in center. Another fastball in another multi-hit game for Starlin. This one is going to tie it up at 4.
That is a deep part of the yard. And we are back square here in the 8th inning. Tyler Thornburg up for the Red Sox. Still nobody out. Single homer. As Derek Dietrich takes a called strike. Strikeouts for Dietrich, who is able to hold up ball on the strike.
Well, that is the first time this season that Workman has given up 3 earned runs in an inning. Marlins are far from done. Nobody out here in the 8th.
Cut on and missed on the 1-2 pitch, and Dietrich is out on strikes.
MLB.TV is now available at a lower price. For just $49.99, you can watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus you get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Lockout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer.
Well, it was the third time this season the Marlins, that is, have gone back-to-back. And all 3 times Starlin Castro has been a part of it. July 7th, it was Castro and Real Muto in the 4th inning at Washington. And the 9th against Milwaukee. A couple of days later, Castro and Anderson going back-to-back. This time they have tied things up. Strike to Dean, 2-1. A fair ball down the right field line, kicks off the tarp and right to Betts. Pounces on it quickly. Now, the Red Sox might have caught a break there, because if that ball, and Holly, we talked about that wall earlier, if it goes straight down the line and it doesn't get cut off, it's got a chance to roll all the way around to that 380 mark.
Yeah, Betts, 2 Gold Gloves, certainly knows how to play it. He busted his tail to get in position. Watch this, he is flying. That's how he keeps Dean at first base. He's one of the better right fielders in the game.
But Dean makes it the end of the night for Matt Barnes, as the Florida Lottery called to the bullpen here in Boston. Has come on to pinch run for Austin Dean over at first base. And a new pitcher for the Boston Red Sox as Heath Hembree takes over. 56th game for him, an ERA a little under 4. But just like a couple of guys that we have seen, more strikeouts than innings pitched, 68 to 52.
Four-seam fastball, slider, curve, the 90s fastball. Stranded 24 of 30 inherited runners this season.
Here is Miguel Rojas. 0 for 3 tonight. He's up in a big spot in the 4th inning. 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Popped up on the infield. Would like to keep this rally going. Marlins have been busy in the 8th. A single, back-to-back home runs, a strikeout, and then another base hit. 0-1 to Rojas. A third of an inning. 4 hits, 3 runs for Barnes. And the runner on first, still his responsibility. Now, if you put Sierra on as a pinch runner in a situation like this, is there a thought to try to steal second base, or is that just because of the gaps?
Well, there certainly is, but the problem that you have is that Sierra has not tried a whole lot this season to run. He certainly maintains and possesses the ability to do it. He has not really gotten into a rhythm or a groove. I'll use Ortega as an example. We know Ortega can run and steal a base every now and again, but as soon as he arrived, the first thing he did was get going and kind of get that rhythm on the base paths. Not quite sure that Sierra is there yet. We'll say this: get a double in the gap, get a shot at scoring.
To your point, only 1 steal and 1 caught stealing this year for Sierra. 1-1 this year, 2-2 last year.
So much more goes into stealing bases than just pure speed. Timing, jumps, how to read a pitcher, how to anticipate a move, a breaking ball in the dirt. A lot of things factor in. One thing you do run across an awful lot: most relievers aren't very fast to home.
Just got a piece to foul it back and stay alive. Another 1-2 pitch is upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rojas, who this season in late and close situations, of which this is, he is a .318 hitter. Looking to come through again for the Marlins, who have scored 3 runs in this inning to tie things up. Get Urania off the hook. The other way, a base hit into right field for Rojas. Comes through again.
I'll tell you what, we've mentioned this a number of times this year, the Marlins' ability to get on the fastball, and we've seen it this inning. Good at bat after good at bat. Barrel, good swing. Rojas going the other way. Line drive, base hit to right, his first hit of the night. 5th hit this inning for the Marlins.
Once again, the pitching coach Dana Levangie out to talk to a pitcher this inning. While he chats it up with Hembry, we'll take a look at the home runs hit this inning with the help of StatCast.
Yeah, this is impressive when you factor in that we all know that JT had been scuffling just a bit before yesterday's off day. 103, 104 miles an hour off the bat, but turned on velocity. That's the important thing. This to me is as impressive as anyone we've seen this year from Starlin Castro. My, oh my, long way out towards the Bermuda Triangle here at Fenway, and he was able to go up over the short wall. Now, you don't see that too often from right-handed hitters here.
No, you don't. Out to center field for a triple. That clearly hit with authority, and the home run to right center hit with authority. And now Galloway, 2 on, 1 out. He got the scoring started for the Marlins with a home run in the 3rd inning. Out to center field, and Jackie Bradley Jr. makes the catch. Two away in the 8th. Brian Holiday due up, but it looks like JT Riddle is going to take this at bat. Riddle comes off the bench. Trying to keep this inning alive for the Marlins.
Well, I believe the last time we saw JT Riddle pinch hit, he was busy hitting a home run.
He's good at this.
To right field. Well, I don't know if the numbers kind of lead us there, but where I'm going is
he's
hot hand.
He's
hot
hot
hand.
now. Yeah,
that's right.
That's what I meant.
Right man, right spot. He had kind of an extended offer in the pinch hitter department until that home run.
Was his first career pinch hit home run. Did it last week against the Yankees. Can he do some sort of damage against their rival here at Fenway Park? 2 on, 2 out, 3 in for the Marlins.
See the numbers over the last 10 games. Two doubles, 3 homers, 9 RBIs.
Two balls and no strikes to Riddle with Ortega waiting on deck. Miles an hour right at the bottom of the zone. 2-1.
Well, JT, very solid numbers on the road.
That one misses low. Fans don't like it, but you could tell that that was below the strike zone. Now 3-1 to JT Riddle.
Yeah, this has been a very complicated inning for Red Sox fans. Marlins have erupted. Quality at bats, 5 hits, 3 runs, and a 3-1 count on JT Riddle with runners in scoring position.
Hitters count. Bases loaded. So the bases are loaded for Rafael Ortega. Sierra, Rojas, Riddle, 3rd to 1st. In what has been a busy inning for the Marlins.
Well, this is the perfect time for their first hit tonight with a runner in scoring position. They have had traffic on the bases, many opportunities. All their runs so far tonight, the byproduct of the home run. 3 homers tonight. All they need is just a base hit right here and take the lead.
Out behind short, long run for Bogarts, and that one's going to fall in. 1 run scores. Here's Rojas, safe. 2 in on Ortega's little blooper into left field.
Man, getting it done. Well, I'll tell you, this whole inning's been about exit velocity until the bases were loaded and needing the biggest hit of this ball game. Just a little floater into left is going to get the job done, and the Marlins have taken the lead.
What is amazing, Holly, is that in this ballpark, you never see a ball falling in left field.
Right.
The left fielder plays so close.
Well, there's no soft spots. You're right. You're absolutely right. And after the catch Bogarts made earlier, the blind catch, where he was not even looking at the baseball, this one gets in there. Great slide by Rojas for the second run, and a 2-run lead here in the top of the 8th. Wow. One of the most impressive innings we've seen this year from the Marlins offense.
6-4. And now Brian Anderson, the 10th Marlins hitter of the inning, got it all started with a single against Matt Barnes.
Now quality at bat after quality at bat here in the 8th.
Right back to the screen. 1-1. Tehran Guerrero up for the Marlins in their pen. Hector Velasquez up for the Red Sox. Fouled back again, 95 miles an hour.
We had mentioned the Red Sox earned run average over their last 8 games coming in. 627. It is definitely going up tonight.
Back to the mound. That is going to do it. But the Marlins score 5 runs in the 8th inning to turn a 4-1 deficit into a 6-4 lead. A 2-run homer for JT Realmuto. Back-to-back homers from Castro. And then Ortega with the 2-run bloop. Marlins in front. Six hits, 2 homers in the top of the 8th inning. And now some defensive changes for the Marlins as Miguel Rojas moves from short to first. JT Riddle stays in the game. He is at shortstop. Magneuris Sierra, who came into the ballgame to pinch run, he is in center. Galloway moves from center to right, and Ortega moves from right to left. Oh, and Tehran Guerrero in the ballgame too.
4.29 ERA this season, pitching in his 53rd game. Well, one thing we know, when Guerrero comes into the ball game, you're going to see lots of velocity. Fastball ranks 3rd in average fastball velocity this season, 98.8. We've seen him hit as high as 104 miles an hour. He's been on a little roll. A couple of appearances against the Yankees, the Braves, last 3 times out. 3 1/3 innings, no earned runs, 4 punch-outs, only 2 hits allowed.
It's JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, and Eduardo Nunez. So 6 innings from Urania. 2 walks, but no runs allowed by Bearclaw in the 7th. Two and 1 to JD Martinez. Bearclaw walked the first 2 batters he faced in the 7th inning, got a big double play ball, a 5-5-3 double play, and then got Mitch Moreland to fly out. 2 on, nobody out against this offense. You think, well, this might be a great opportunity for them to score runs, but Bearclaw buckled down. Kept the Red Sox off the board. Marlins answered back with 5. These last 6 outs will not be easy, not in this ballpark, not against this offense.
No, certainly not. Good to see JD Martinez leading off, though. He and his 110 RBIs.
Right back up the middle. A leadoff base hit for Martinez. T-Mobile, built for baseball. This is Justin Smoke, his 20th home run this season. We'll see the Toronto Blue Jays when we get back to Marlins Park. 3-game set with the Jays Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That next homestand.
I think the question is, will Josh Donaldson potentially be with them?
Right. Big league club or organization.
Well, right. Well,
yeah.
I just think his name's being kind of still kicked around out there for some deadline deals. Well, I mentioned it early in the ball game. I'll bring it up once again. We love talking velocity here, and Guerrero possesses it. The Red Sox, the best team in the American League at turning around velocity, though. You saw it. JD Martinez, hard hit single up the middle. That pitch at 99. Fastball command going to be very important for Guerrero tonight.
"1-0 is outside to Bogaerts. And the pitch came in at 99, and JD Martinez turned it around at 109.6.
Well, remember this, it's a hitter's count, and that's why JT Realmuto's out to the mound. Paul, you know, you're going to continue to fall behind hitters. They're going to become more aggressive in one spot. If it is high velocity, they're going to look middle, and that's where you're ultimately stuck going when you fall behind 2-0, 3-1. We've seen Guerrero at times go through some stretches. I do remember just a few weeks ago, we were talking about how at times he would back off a little bit at the front end of a count in order to get that first strike on the corner. We've seen a lot of velocity. He needs some strikes here.
That one low, 3-0. Bogaerts doubled and scored in the 2nd, and a sac fly in the 3rd. Grounded out in the 6th. Guerrero deals the 3-0. Called strike. Called strike 2 right at the bottom of the zone.
Well, that's the pitcher's pitch we're talking about. In the 3-1 count, we talk exit velocity and the ability to turn it around. Right there, as a hitter, you're not thinking about attacking. It's down too far to your eyes. Like something a little more middle. It's a good pitch by Guerrero.
Out to right field, Galloway makes the catch. Not an easy one to judge. That one is coming in hot. He's able to make the catch.
Well, you add to that he didn't start the game in right field. I mean, that's the other thing. Not only is Fenway Park very difficult to play anyway, but when you switch positions and it's your first time, it can be even more challenging.
I asked him before he started the game in center field. I asked him before the game, what have you heard about center field here? And he looked at me and he says that it's a nightmare. I turned and said, good luck out there, and walked away.
Well, you don't have I guess I'll call it a clean dimension at this ballpark other than in left field. You have the green monster, which again, it's easier in left, but you have to remember, you've got the green monster behind you, and you've got to be able to play the ball off the wall. And the farther you go towards left center, you got to play it off at an angle. So you have to be careful about that. The center fielder, oh my, where do I even begin? And then you got right. You've got pesky pole in that tight corner as well. I mean, it's not easy. It's going to be a challenge for the Marlins outfielders over the next couple of days. But you know, with each game you play here, you get a little bit more used to the surroundings.
Nothing in 2 to Eduardo Nunez, with J.D. Martinez off of first. Well, I think of Frankenstein, right? If you're taking bits and pieces of every ballpark, you could make a case that one of the most difficult left fields is Fenway. One of the most difficult center fields is Fenway. Right fields, Fenway. Yeah. Like it's all right here. It's alive. It's alive.
I think that's why their outfield's so impressive to my eyes. And if they can keep it together for a long period of time, they may say this is the best outfield that the Red Sox have ever put together. Between Benintendi, Betts, and Bradley Jr., you got 3 guys who can all play center field, go get the ball. And they've been playing together now long enough to where you know how each one plays.
Nunez homered back in the 6th. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Guerrero deals. Lined into right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Red Sox have the tying runs aboard with 1 out in the 8th. The Toyota trend, about a month's worth of baseball for the Red Sox. 27 games in 30 days, 19 of them on the road. 10-8 in that stretch. Played Sunday in St. Pete, and that was the last of a 3-game series. The Red Sox are the only team in Major League Baseball without a 4-game losing streak. They have lost 3 in a row. Here's Ian Kinsler. Kinsler an RBI single in the 2nd. A couple of ground outs to, at the time, Rojas at short. It's Riddle over there now. Rojas at first. The offer, no, says the first base umpire Scott Berry. Kinsler out to center. Gets down in front of Sierra, but it was up long enough that Martinez had to hold up. Bases loaded and 1 out.
Well, the Boston Red Sox have shown their best swings, their turnaround speeds. That's 3 base hits on pitches at 99 or higher this inning.
Pitching coach Juan Nieva is out to talk with Teheran Guerrero, who is a ground ball away from getting out of this jam. Adam Conley up. Blake Swihart set to dig in. Only grounded into 2 double plays this year. 103 to 148 plate appearances this season. Marlins down to their last mound visit. But right now, all eyes on Guerrero and Swihart. Bases loaded, 1 away in a 2-run game. Just outside, 1-0. Well, my numbers were wrong. He has already grounded into a double play tonight. So that is now 3 this season for Swihart.
Nice job by Guerrero finding the corner. Good pitch. If you go back, we've talked velocity, but just about all 3 hits have been fastballs almost down the middle of the plate and thigh high. Guerrero's got to find those corners.
Balls and a strike to Swihart.
Jackie Bradley Jr. on deck. And I'll tell you what, this place had kind of fallen asleep just a bit after last inning's offensive explosion by the Marlins. No longer the case.
Sellout crowd on their feet, awaiting a 3-1 from Guerrero. A called strike 2. Missed, strike 3. Blew it past him at 99 miles an hour. A huge strikeout. 2 down in the 8th.
Yeah, mano y mano. Guerrero backed into a corner, had to go right at him. Splits the plate thigh high and gets it by him. The luxury of high velocity, my friend. There it is in its finest form.
Now Jackie Bradley Jr. singled and scored, struck out, walked and stole a base. Ball 1.
Guerrero, 26 pitches this inning. He is going to have to dig deep to get through this 8th inning.
Ball and a strike to Jackie Bradley Jr. on a pitch that may have been a little off the edge. One more look. Nice job by JT to present the strike.
Yeah, he snatched that outside the strike zone and brought it back in.
Sure, that too. Either way, here comes the 1-1.
Seen some of the complications this inning. Boston's ability to hit velocity and the fact that Guerrero has fallen behind a few hitters. All behind Jackie Bradley Jr. as well.
Back to the screen. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Martinez led off the inning with a single, Nunez a single, and Kinsler a single. The 2-2. And the runners will get a head start. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. In a 2-run game in the last of the 8th.
This has become the biggest pitch of the ball game right here.
Another 3-2 pitch. Ground ball, and that one gets through. A base hit. Martinez scores. And in comes the second run. This game is tied. Jackie Bradley Jr. brings home 2.
Boston Red Sox have proven once again they are one of the best fastball hitting teams in baseball. They have hit 99 and above 4 times this inning. Leads to 2 runs in a tie ball game. Bradley Jr. got 6 looks at Guerrero's fastball.
And he made the last one count, a 2-run single that has tied this game. Go-ahead run now at third. Chance of MVP ramp up as we await the 1-1 pitch that misses upstairs. 2-1 to Mookie Betts.
Yeah, Mookie Betts hitting .318 this season with runners in scoring position. .490 on base percentage. Well, at 36 pitches, you've got to believe that on this hot and steamy night in Boston, Guerrero is laboring big time. His command hasn't been there since the start. The Marlins have got to find a way to keep this game tied.
That one all the way to the backstop, and a run will score on the wild pitch. Betts walks as well, but more importantly, the go-ahead run comes in to score. And Don Mattingly is going to take out Guerrero, and we are back to, at the moment, a save situation for Craig Kimbrell.
Well, of the 37 pitches, this the wildest of them all. Yes, it maintained velocity. It hit the backstop, even knocked the beverages of the people in the front row over.
Florida Lottery called to the bullpen here at Fenway Park. Red Sox back in front. The frame, but the Red Sox have answered back with 3. Adam Conley takes over. He'll face the lefty Andrew Benintendi. 42nd game for him. A strikeout per inning. On a night where Teheran Guerrero didn't have the control that he needed. About half of the pitches he threw were out of the strike zone. And the ones that were in the strike zone, the Red Sox got around.
Well, and they split the plate, and I think that's part of the problem, was that he fell behind, and Red Sox hitters were looking one pitch, one spot. That's what you say to yourself as a hitter. And regardless of the velocity, it certainly didn't bail him out tonight. It does speak to the talent of this Red Sox roster. We spoke repeatedly coming in and thought it would be an angle tonight with Urania going, and we've seen it. Boston scoring their 7 runs, the ability to hit high velocity. Came into tonight, 159 hits of pitches 95 miles an hour or faster. First in the American League. I'll tell you what, it may play well going off of Richards in that changeup tomorrow night.
Be opposed by David Price on the air with the Marlins Live pregame show at 6. First pitch here at Fenway Park, a little after 6:30. Craig Kimbrell looming for the Red Sox. Marlins trying to make it so that it's only 1 run to make up. Real Muto and Castro They went back-to-back in the 8th inning, back-to-back homers, and then Dietrich due up 3rd in the 9th. Three balls and a strike from Conley. Ground ball to Riddle. Makes the play. But the Red Sox answer back with 3 runs in the last of the 8th inning. Craig Kimbrel against Real Muto, Castro, and Dietrich in the 9th. Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Lincoln, join the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event by your South Florida Honda dealers. And that's the video that plays here at Fenway Park when the fireballer, the dominant closer, Craig Kimbrel, comes into the ball game. Thought going into the bottom of the 8th, we might not see him tonight. Instead, Red Sox score 3, retake the lead, and have a 1-run cushion for Kimbrel.
Well, and it seems to me that he's hitting his stride just about now. 2.42 ERA, 52 innings, 80 punch-outs. 37 saves are his most in a season with Boston and most in any season since 2015. 17 strikeouts in his last 8 appearances. That's 8 innings, 17 punch-outs.
It's JT Realmuto to lead things off. A 2-run home run in the 8th inning. A single in the 5th. And a called strike.
Yeah. Kimbrel, 2 pitches. He's done it in his entire career. Nothing's changed. 4-seam fastball. About 66% of the time. 97, 98 miles an hour. Wicked curveball at 87. That would be it right there.
JT looking for his first hit against Kimbrel. 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Down on the count, 1-2.
We showed you the body of work coming in and the number of saves. Kind of bring things into perspective here. Hitters are hitting 182 against his 4-seam fastball, but he has given up 7 home runs. That curveball that you just saw, 104. He's only given up 5 hits on the curveball this year, no home runs.
Soft liner, and Bogaerts puts it away for the first out. Here's Starlin Castro. A triple off the wall in center field. was back in the 4th inning, and a solo home run to right center field in the 8th. Takes down low from Kimbrel. Just 1 for 8. Does have an RBI and 2 walks against Kimbrel in his career. Knocks Castro down. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, it's fair to say that yesterday's off day was probably good for everybody. It seems everybody a little rusty today, huh?
It seems that way.
A couple of errant, high-velocity fastballs. Hopefully nobody hurt. A couple of beverages have taken blows behind the net. Yeah, see, that's where the game gets cruel. 97 miles an hour over your head to the net, and then 99 at your knees away.
The 2-1 pitch.
There's the 87-mile-an-hour curveball. Starlin looking to defend. Able to come up with that pitch.
Bounces that one. And the count is full to Castro. The 3-2 to Castro inside. Marlins have the tying run aboard for Derek Dietrich. Yadiel Rivera pinch runs over at first. The WB Mason Marlins Live postgame show. Craig Minervini, Tommy Hutton, and Jeff Nelson standing by in studio. We'll hear from Don Mattingly and much more at the conclusion of this one. Well, here's the good news. Derek Dietrich has a home run against Craig Kimbrel. He's 2 for 8 in his career. That one low, 1-0.
Well, ideally against Kimbrel, take your chances on the velocity, as I mentioned. But if you can stay ahead and work ahead, especially with a runner on base, you can kind of narrow things down just a bit.
Balls and no strikes to Dietrich. He's 0 for 4 tonight. He struck out 3 times. He's looking to battle here in front 2-0 with the tying run at first. Three balls and no strikes. Close. Dietrich may have gotten the benefit of that call, but again, one of those, the optical illusion of the catcher having to reach back. Home plate umpire Paul Nauert said ball 3. 3-0. Ball 4. Marlins have 2 on, and the tying run moves up into scoring position as Magnioris Sierra will step to the plate.
Well, I'll tell you what, 3-1 breaking ball certainly tells you something there. Respect for Dietrich's power. Represents the go-ahead run.
What is the plan of attack this at-bat for the youngster Sierra?
Stay on the fastball. He's been watching. Hopefully he, from the on-deck circle, has got at least some form of a feel for how Kimbrel's ball comes in, his release point, how he picks it up. He knows what he's dealing with. I mean, ideally, if you see that spin, do your best to leave it alone, unless you have to defend with 2 strikes. But up until that point, stay on the fastball. His command has been off. He may get one down the middle. He needs to be ready for it.
Fouls the first one back. 0-1. It's imperative for Sierra to at least put the ball in play in this at-bat because he's so hard to double up that you'd hope, worst case scenario, Rivera can get to third with 2 outs.
Now that's the curveball you're trying not to swing at for 2 strikes. Now he's going to have to battle. Defend the strike zone. Shorten up, trying to put that ball in play.
The 1-2. Miguel Rojas waits on deck. Down the right field line and foul off the facade of the second deck, a little out in front of that one. The 1-2 pitch. A base hit into right field. Rivera around third. The throw from Betts is not in time, and Sierra has tied the game.
How about it? The biggest moment in this young man's career, or at least his Marlins career, for crying out loud. How about it? Getting it done. Marlins have showed up here in Boston and have fought and continue to fight. Sierra turns around, velocity 98 miles an hour, lines it into right.
And Craig Kimbrel has blown the save. Great reaction by Sierra, who certainly needed that hit. Personally, the Marlins needed it too, of course.
Well, he was able to foul off the curveball, ripped it foul, and got back on that fastball.
And Rojas, the liner, but back to second is Dietrich. Well, Miggy got a good piece of that one, but it was right at the second baseman, Kinsler.
give you another look at Sierra's biggest moment as a Marlin. Nice job getting on top with 2 strikes. The velocity.
And Rivera just got the toe in there. So now it's Galloway, who homered earlier in this ball game. That one misses low. His second big league home run came back in the 3rd. Drew Steckenrider up for the Marlins. What has been a back and forth affair in these last couple of innings. Unable to hold up a ball and a strike. It was 3-1 Red Sox going into the bottom of the 6th inning. They scored a run. And the Marlins with 5 on the board in the 8th to take a 6-4 lead. Red Sox scored 3 to get back in front. That one gets away all the way up the screen, and Dietrich will go to second base. Sierra, or Dietrich to third, Sierra to second.
This one bounces off the front corner of home plate. And Karam up over the backstop.
Wild pitch from Kimbrel, who has been erratic as well. 25 pitches, just 13 strikes. 2-1 to Isaac Galloway. Off the black, 2-2. Outside.
Take. Kimbrel running into the same issues that Guerrero ran into. 27 total pitches, only 14 strikes.
Galloway chased. Swihart will throw to first to complete the strikeout. But the Marlins have tied things up. The biggest hit of Sierra's career. Now we go to the bottom of the ninth. RBI single against Craig Kimbrel that has tied this ball game up. Yadiel Rivera stays in the ball game. He pinch ran for Starlin Castro and scored the game-tying run. Also staying in the game is Adam Conley. Got the last out of the 8th inning. Well, he might not be staying in for much longer. Got the warm-up tosses. And out comes Drew Steckenrider. So the Florida Lottery call to the bullpen right after Steve Pierce was announced. So Steck comes in, we step aside. Walk-off win this season as he comes in, his 61st game this year, pitching to a 3.38 ERA, and he'll face Steve Pierce off the Red Sox bench. 0-1 to Pierce. 10 homers, 31 RBIs, a .291 average this year for Pierce.
Well, Pierce has been quality addition to the Boston Red Sox. He's coming over from the Blue Jays. 6 of 9. Gone for extra bases, not this time.
Fly ball out to Galloway in right, who'll make the play. And they got him early. They got him a month before the trade deadline. Late June, they brought in Steve Pierce, and he's, to your point, come up with a lot of big hits.
Yeah, he's continued to slug. I was getting ready to say 6 of his last 9 hits have gone for extra bases, including 5 home runs. Thankfully, a good first out here in the 9th.
The guy stepping in has a few extra base hits too. JD Martinez takes a called strike from Steckenrider. 7th inning or later, a .328 hitter.
See a little extra velocity from Steckenrider tonight. 97 on the last pitch.
Just 2 at-bats between these two, but Martinez has homered and singled. A 1-out knock here in the bottom of the 9th.
Now that is the 53rd multi-hit game for JD Martinez, most in the big leagues this season.
Now it's Xander Bogaerts. Doubled and scored in the 2nd inning, a sac fly in the 3rd. Ground out and a fly out. He's never faced Steckenrider. delivers a strike at 96 miles an hour, 0-1.
Martinez does have 5 stolen bases on the season, though not likely not to run much. Maybe not with Bogaerts in the box.
Cut on and missed at 96. Backswing may have gotten real muto there. That's why Bogaerts was checking in on JT. Big hole on the left side of the infield as Anderson is hugging the third base line behind the bag. Maybe 2 feet off the line. Bogaerts goes the other way into right field, a base hit. The Red Sox have the winning run in scoring position with 1 out.
Another 2-strike hit for Bogaerts. This is the 10th hit tonight for the Boston Red Sox on a fastball with velocity above 95.
Martinez at second, Bogaerts at first. Steckenrider will face Eduardo Nunez. 2 for 4 tonight, 0 for 1 against Steckenrider in his career. 0-1. Solo home run for Nunez in the 6th. Singled and scored in the 8th. Chopper up the middle. Riddle steps on the bag, and it gets away from Rojas, and the Red Sox are going to win this game.
Wow, unbelievable. After everything we've seen from the Marlins tonight, fighting back, getting themselves into the ball game, tying this thing up against Kimbrel. It's been the one thing that has probably been the most reliable thing this season, the defense that lets down here in the bottom of the 9th.
Red Sox win it 8-7. A back and forth game in the late innings. Eduardo Nunez with a chopper up the middle. Riddle got the out at second base. Low throw got away from Rojas into the camera well. Martinez comes in to score the 8th and winning run for the Red Sox tonight. Lots to break down on the Marlins Live post-game show with the guys in South Florida. Stick around. Be back in a moment.